a fan base for, for horror films, and they really back them and support them and love them, and it's a really cool community, the horror community.
Matt! Who are you? What are you doing in my house? Matt?
I'm a reverend.
It's okay, we asked him to come.
Welcome back to Horror R Us. Today we're talking about an actor who doesn't always get the mainstream recognition he deserves, but who has quietly built one of the most consistent and memorable horror resumes of his generation. We hear the term Scream Queen thrown around all the time, but there's another side of that coin. A handful of male actors who have bled, screamed, and suffered their way into horror history. And if there's one actor who absolutely deserves the title of Scream King, it's Kyle Gallner.
I like horror films. I've made a handful of them. I think it's a great genre.
From his earliest days on screen, Gallner had this unique ability to stand out. He never played characters that felt flat or generic. Even when the role was small, he found a way to make you remember him. That's rare in Hollywood, and it's one of the reasons horror fans have latched onto him so strongly over the years.
Decided to up and move, and we got a house in Connecticut, and as soon as we get there, there's kind of a bunch of supernatural things that happen. And
let's start with one of the roles that really put him on the horror map, The Haunting in Connecticut. Gallner played Matt Campbell, a teenager battling cancer who moves with his family into a house that, as you can guess, is crawling with dark supernatural energy. Now, this could have been another standard haunted house movie, and in some ways, it is. But Gallner elevates it. He plays Matt with a mix of pain, vulnerability, and quiet strength that makes us truly care about him. Horror is always scarier when we care about the people in danger, and Gallner made Matt one of those characters you root for instead of just waiting to see killed off. That was a huge step in establishing him as more than just another horror actor. He showed he could anchor a story. Later that same year, Gallner switched things up with a very different kind of horror in Jennifer's Body. Diablo Cody's script was dripping with dark comedy and biting social commentary, and Gallner's role as Colin Gray, the goth outsider, became one of the film's most memorable performances. Colin wasn't in the movie long, but the way Gallner played him, awkward, hopeful, sweet in his own way, made his death one of the most heartbreaking in the film. It's not just that Colin dies, it's how it happens. His brutal fate at the hands of Megan Fox's demon-possessed cheerleader cemented him as a fan favorite, and to this day, people talk about how unfair Colin's death was. That's the kind of impact Gallner has. Even in smaller roles, he makes you feel something.
well, we've been having a lot of fun in class, you and I thought that maybe you'd like to go see a movie or something.
Then we get to Scream 2022. The beauty of the Scream franchise is that it thrives on killing off characters you don't always expect, and Gallner's Vince Schneider fits perfectly into that tradition. His role was short, but his presence was significant. He carried himself with that edgy, slightly dangerous energy that made you think, okay, maybe this guy could be the killer. And then, he's gone. In a blink and you'll miss it moment of violence that set the tone for the rest of the film. It was shocking, brutal, and exactly what you expect from Scream. For longtime horror fans, it was also a sly nod, because Gallner's face is one you instantly recognize in this genre.
Is that you, pretty boy? Huh? Get out of my fucking car!
But if Scream was a wink, Smile was a full-blown showcase. Released in 2022, Smile became one of the biggest surprise horror hits in recent years. Gallner played Joel, the ex-boyfriend of Sosie Bacon's character, and his performance showed just how much he's grown as an actor. Joel could have easily been a throwaway role, the guy who shows up to help the protagonist and then fades into the background. But Gallner gave Joel a weight and sincerity that made him vital to the story. He was the grounding force, the tether to reality in a movie where everything else was unraveling into madness. And his chemistry with Bacon added a real emotional layer to the film. Watching Gallner in Smile felt like seeing the evolution of everything he had done before. He wasn't just the scared kid anymore. He was the guy who stood strong when the world fell apart.
Anybody else here? I didn't fucking know anybody else was here!
Even outside of these major horror films, Gallner has popped up in places horror fans love. His brief but memorable role as Zack in The Walking Dead is a perfect example. He wasn't there for long, but once again, he made an impression. That's the thing with Gallner. He doesn't need a ton of screen time to leave a mark. He has that quality where even if he's only around for a single episode, you remember him.
Okay, I think I got it.
Got what?
Oh, I've been trying to guess what Daryl did before the turn.
And while horror has become his bread and butter, Gallner has also proven he can step outside of it. Take his role in Smallville, where he played Bart Allen, better known as Impulse. That role introduced him to a whole new audience and showed he could handle lighter, more comic book style material. Then there's The Outsiders, where he stepped into a dramatic world completely different from haunted houses and cursed smiles. These non-horror roles highlight his range, proving he's not typecast, even though horror is where he truly shines.
Dude, you lost? You know, because I guess you must be, because this is my room.
When you put all of this together, The Haunting in Connecticut, Jennifer's Body, Scream, Smile, The Walking Dead, and even his non-horror ventures like Smallville, you see the picture of an actor who has consistently brought something unique to every project. He doesn't just show up and do the job. He makes his characters resonate, no matter how big or small the role. That's why Kyle Gallner has earned his place as a modern-day Scream King. He's the kind of actor horror fans love because he feels like one of us. Committed, authentic, and always giving his all to the genre. He may not have the household name recognition of a Jamie Lee Curtis or a Neve Campbell, but among horror fans, his legacy is undeniable.
You know, and Ghostface has definitely solidified himself up there amongst, you know, the ranks of the big bad guys.
So the real question is, has Kyle Gallner already secured his crown as one of the greats of modern horror, or is his true breakout moment still waiting in the shadows? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into his career, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another breakdown from Horror R Us. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
What's the matter? You a wee bit shy?
I never seen one of y'all before.